And he chose Abraham of ancient Mesopotamia, the city of Ur, to be the one through whom he would develop a people. And that people would then be given laws to keep them safe from things so that he could use them to bring forth a body into which his son would inhabit, that he would step down from heaven, from being in existence with God, to be in existence with man. We read about this in John 1:1. We read about it in John 6. We read about it in Philippians 2, that although he was existing in the form of a God, he took on the form of a man. In John 1:1, he was in the beginning as the Word, with God as a God, which he himself defines in John 10. In John 10, Jesus says that like the other sons of God, he can also be called a God, but without there being any compromise to his Father's Godship. Because, in Jesus' case, he's not some other God. When he stepped down from heaven to earth, whether he was in heaven or on the earth, he only did the will of the Father. We're going to read about that. But it's all over the place. It's in several chapters in John. It's in other accounts, in the other historical records regarding Jesus. Jesus is never doing his own will. He is at all times surrendering himself to the Father, Jah. Other sons of God who do this same thing are shown to us in the Hebrew Scriptures or Old Testament, like in accounts in Genesis, where angels visited Lot or Abraham, but spoke as if they were Jah. This is also in other books of the Bible, like in Judges or Psalms, where angels are called gods, but without any compromise to the one Godship, one true Godship of their Father, because they're either representing that one true Godship as gods, or there's some other God that we do not recognize, or that is not recognized as Jah. And so you have other spirits like Satan and other demons, Jah's sons, who are allowed to do what they want, just like we're allowed to do what we want. Well, Jesus and the other sons of God who don't do what they want, or if what they want is to do what's best, and that is follow Jah, that's who they are. So this is why Jesus, for example, in accounts like John 14, tells his disciples, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. The Father is working through me. He says that explicitly. He says that also in John 6. In John 7, he says that he doesn't teach what is his. He teaches what he heard from the Father. In John 8, he says it several times. He didn't come of his own. What he teaches, not his own. In John 12, he says it again, verses 49 and 50. In John 14, he speaks of the Father who's greater than him. He doesn't make a distinction between his humanity and his spirit life. He just speaks with reference to himself. Just like he did in John 10. When the issue is the question of whether he's called theos, a God. And even if you want to say that they accused him of being God there, which would then contradict teachings like the Trinity, because Jesus' response shows, number one, that's not what he's talking about, but that he's referring to texts like in Psalm 82 where other sons of God are called gods, and he even more so because he's doing Jah's will. That's what he says. The Trinity would not be possible if what Jesus does in that text is correct. Right? How could Jesus be God in the same sense the other sons of God are gods and the Trinity be correct? Not possible. That's why the Trinity is not taught in the Bible. Now, people that the Trinity, involve are in the Bible. The Trinity is a later teaching that involves a lot of controversy over the metaphysical relationship, the thing we know least about, and that contradicts all those texts I just referenced. But Trinitarians use it to try to deal with monotheism in a way that I try to appreciate it, try to give them the benefit of the doubt, because it's become difficult metaphysically to discuss things like I just did. And for Trinitarians, I think it's an easy way for them to not have to deal with that, to not have to address texts where sons of God are gods, and where Jesus uses that to explain why he's God or a God, and how you can be God by only doing Jah's will, which he says over and over and over again, right?